Hey everyone, welcome in. I just got back getting 4 boxes of EB02 from my local game store. This set primarily is going to contain cards for the Green Purple Luffy, which I just put out a guide. If you haven't watched it yet, you should go check that out. It'll be a beginner's guide. We'll hopefully give you all the information you need to start playing the deck on the day that this releases, which should be today that you're watching this video. So we can go ahead and start off with this one. There is the main chase card of the set is going to be the Gear 2 Manga Luffy. That's going to be the card that ultimately we're trying to get. And we can start off here with the first box. Alright, pack 1. Let's see what we get. So I'm just going to start off in the beginning and I'll show some of the cards that we get to start, and then as we get deeper into this I'll probably go a little bit faster because I do have 4 boxes, so I don't know if I can do this for every box. And then once we get to the end, you'll see we do get this music event, which from what I've heard there's a lot of these going around, so I'm imagining we'll see a lot of these. And then we get a Frankie, which a card that could be used in Green Purple Luffy but not necessarily a staple. It's one of the optional cards, I would say. So I'll just put the ball over to the side. And we will probably continue this way at least until we get our first hit of the box. A lot of these cards don't necessarily have like a specific deck they're going to go in right now, but given the history of EB01, a lot of those cards became pretty relevant later on. So nothing in the first 2 packs really. Another music event, and then we do get the secret rare Law. He is Dressrosa type, so I could foresee him becoming popular in the future, but for right now he's not really in any deck. I think you could make an argument to run him inside of Usopp, but I haven't really seen any lists running him that have performed particularly well. Moving on, we have the fake Straw Hat Crew. It's a funny looking card. Oh, and we get our first hit of the set. This is the Secret Rare Luffy, one of the cards, so you're going to be getting 4 of these in one case, so pretty great to get one of that out of these 4 boxes. And then he is one of the mandatory cards that you need to run inside of the Green Purple Luffy deck, running anywhere from 3 to 4 copies of that. So probably not going to be the cheapest card to get for the deck. So now that we've gotten the first chase card, I'm probably going to speed through these a little bit more and just get to the back. Considering this is a leader pack, we're not going to really get anything worthwhile in here. Just the Sanji rare. I think this is another leader pack. You can kind of see the Luffy staring at us there. So yeah, nothing out of this one. Just another music event, which I really haven't seen a lot of decks running the music events. I know that they just searched like top end cards, so I think you could maybe run them inside of Shanks, but I haven't seen any deck list particularly running it. So just jump to the back of the pack now. We get a Jinbei and an Usopp, so nothing particularly good in that one. And the last card is going to be a Robin. The Robin is in the Green Purple Luffy deck, anywhere from 2 to 4 copies. I haven't particularly decided on how many I'm going to run in my deck. Another deck that does get a pretty big upgrade is going to be Vegapunk, which maybe we'll end up seeing the new 5-cost Vegapunk card, but nothing good in this one, just some bulk cards. Last card is going to be the Sabo, so nothing particularly good in this pack either. And we get the Brook. Alright. Just about halfway done with this box, and so far we've gotten the one Luffy, so I think we should still have 2 more alt arts that we'll end up getting. I'm not sure, there might be a possibility that the SEC takes up like the one hit spot of the box, but we'll end up finding out. We do get the Nami Searcher. This is going to be in the Green Purple Luffy deck as well. One of the mandatory search cards. She also can be used inside of Red Green Law to add another searcher, so you could run both Namis and run 8 like 1-cost Nami searchers that can find your Straw Hat cards. That's something that I definitely want to experiment with this set. Oh, and we get our first alt art, the Arlong. Not exactly the one I want to hit, but we'll take it. And we also get the Chopper out of this pack. Alright, so I think we'll probably get one more hit. And oh, and we get a Sanjian Pudding. This is going to be great for Green Purple Luffy. One of the, I think it's the most expensive SR of the set, so happy to get one of those. I can see a music card peeping out of the corner here. And we end up getting another Frankie, so I'm just making a little bit of a pile for all the cards that I'll be using inside of Green Purple Luffy. It's really the main deck that comes out of this set. I mean, I think half the deck comes out of EB02, so it's pretty clearly the deck that they wanted you to get the set for. And we get an Arlong SR. I honestly have no idea if he's in any decks. The card looks cool, but I don't think he's particularly played in anything. Alright, and we get another Nami, so that'll go inside of Green Purple Luffy. And then we also get a Yamato. Alright, sorry about that. My dog walked into the frame and tipped over my camera. So we're back now, and this pack just had a Going Merry as well as a Porcus D Ace. So the Going Merry is the stage that's going to be in Green Purple Luffy. You do get to draw a card, and then you also get to increase the cost of your characters. We're getting towards the end of this box now, so I'm not sure if we'll get another alt art, but we shall see. We get a Sabo, or Sanji, sorry, and then a music card, and then just bulk cards from here. Alright, and then we get another Going Merry and a Zoro. So the Zoro is another one in Green Purple Luffy. I think you'll find that almost every rare you pull out of these packs ends up going into Green Purple Luffy, so I don't think the deck is going to be particularly cheap, but I think probably within 2 or 3 boxes you'll have most of the cards. And then we end up getting a Sengoku. He is going to be in, I think there are some Lucci lists that maybe run a couple of him, as well as the one of the starter deck Luffys, the one that I think most people refer to as the Italian Luffy. He ends up playing that Sengoku. I think Moria is another contender to run it to grab some of the Navy cards back from your trash. Alright, 2 more packs left. And we do end up getting out of this pack, we're gonna get a Vivi. I don't know of many decks running the Vivi. I know that I kind of thought about running her inside of Marco. I kind of like the idea of having her as almost another copy of Ivankov in that deck. So I don't know if anything actually came from that idea or not, but we'll have to try and see about that. And we end up getting a music event. So first box is done. What we ended up getting out of the first box is going to be, I think these music events are just bulk at this point. So the first box we ended up getting the Secret Rare Luffy, the Arlong alt art as the 2 hits of the pack, and then we ended up getting the Sanjian Pudding, which is basically a hit with what she's going for now, seeing as though she's one of the more important cards for Green Purple Luffy, and then just a lot of bulk, which I'll push off screen now. Alright, moving on to the next box. I'm guessing more of the same. Obviously, I'm going to hope that we can hit the Green Purple Luffy leader or the manga. Either of those would be awesome. So we'll go ahead and dump this out now. And we'll just start with the right side and go through similarly to what we were doing before. Alright, I think I can see a VV peeking out of the side, and then a Garp. I think I can already see the Luffy leader in this pack, so you can kind of see him peeking there. And obviously, for anyone who opens One Piece packs pretty regularly, you'll know that if you see the leader that isn't in the back of the pack, it's just going to be some random rares. Nothing special in the leader packs, unfortunately. So we end up getting the Going Merry, as well as a Brook. One more Going Merry, and we'll have our full playset there for the green-purple Luffy deck. Alright, so we end up getting the Buggy and another music event. I have no idea if the Buggy's used in anything, but for anyone who ended up opening EB01 back about a year ago, you all would remember that the Laboons and the Choppers really weren't too crazy expensive until they ended up being needed, so definitely possible some of these random rares that aren't worth anything now become viable in later sets. Alright, so we get another Resonante and a Sabo. The Resonante is interesting. It lets you play a 2-cost off the top of the deck. Similar to like what Ivankov does for you in Marco, but obviously Resonante can't set his top. We end up getting a Bonnie, which is nice. I don't actually think this card is run inside of Bonnie, but it's an SR, so definitely something worth keeping around. And we end up getting a Vegapunk. Surprised that's the first Vegapunk we end up getting, but 2 boxes in and we get our first one. He's a pretty good upgrade to the deck. Definitely being able to play down a blocker and then also get to develop one of their 5 costs like Shaka's is super good for the deck. Then we get another one of those Buggy cards, and then a Jinbei. I don't think I've ever seen that Jinbei or Buggy in a deck, but every card game set needs to have their filler cards. Alright, and we end up getting, ooh, an Alt-Art Sanji and Pudding, let's go. That card is beautiful. That's going to be great for the green-purple Luffy deck. Just set that with our Alt-Arts over there. And then I imagine the rest of this pack is nothing to be excited about. Alright, so that's the first Alt-Art down of this box. And another music event. I think anyone who ends up opening more than one box of this set is going to have more music events than they know what to do with. I've seen a lot of these events in some packs. So another Frankie and another music event. I kind of wish they had made an alt art of the music events that actually was colored. I don't love the way they look currently. And we get another Going Merry and a Garp. Alright, another Frankie and a Jinbei. I feel like I've seen like 10 of those Jinbeis already. And we end up getting another music event and a Sabo. I feel like the music events are like one in every single pack, or at least one in every other pack for sure. Alright, but a little more than halfway done with this set. And we get the Yamato. That's a nice card for Odin. Pretty big upgrade to that deck. I haven't actually played it, but I know that it became like somewhat viable to play in EB02, so I'm definitely excited to try that deck out again. Played it a little bit back in like, I want to say OP07 or OP8, and it was always fun, but... And we get another alt art. We get the Jewelry Bonnie alt art. This looks super nice. I don't, like I said before, I don't think she's actually run in Bonnie, but super cool looking alt art. So that's probably going to be the last alt art of this box, but we'll go ahead and close out and finish up opening up the rest. Let me know down below what you all ended up opening. If you all ended up getting the manga, obviously I'm hoping I can get that in one of these last 2 boxes. And also let me know what your favorite card of the set is. Mine's definitely the alt art Sanji and Pudding, which we ended up pulling just a few cards ago. Music event out of that pack. And anything exciting? Another Rosinante. Nothing too exciting there. I actually think I can move the Yamato down here with the SRs. And every time, I think there's something with the texture of the leader where it's just like the cards just don't like stick to the face of it, so you can always see when he's going to be in the pack there. So unfortunately, whenever you see him, you know the pack's going to be dead. And we end up getting a Enel. I actually put out a video of the Enel thinking that this card was going to be an absolute monster of EB02, and then ended up banning Raigo, and I think just the dominance of Green Purple Luffy kind of came out of nowhere. From what I could tell in Asia, I don't think anyone was expecting the deck to be as crazy as it actually is. We get another Law, one of the ones that we opened in our first box. But yeah, now that Enel has had Raigo banned, I really don't think there's... It kind of ruined the game plan of just being able to kill any big bodies that they play out and then starve them. So if a deck like Shanks plays out like 10 cost Shanks now, there really isn't any way for Enel to out it. So loses to those decks pretty hard now, I would imagine. And last pack, the last pack magic here, we just get the Sanji and the Usopp. So box number 2 is done. I'll go ahead and push the bulk out of the screen. And we ended up getting a couple SRs. We get the Vegapunk, the Bonnie, and then the Enel, along with the Law. So I'll go ahead and stick these off to the side. And the alt arts that we got out of that box are the Jewelry Bonnie, and then the very pretty Sanji and Pudding alt art for the Green Purple Luffy deck. Alright, well, moving on to the third box now. And I'll go ahead and slice this open. Alright, hoping we can hit one of the big hits out of the case. So looking for something like the Gold Leader, the Manga, or the Green Purple Luffy alt leader. Any of those 3 would be awesome to pull. Alright, start with the right side again. And I'm guessing we're going to end up seeing more of the same. So, start with the last card here. And it's a Garp and the music event. So, just take the bulk over to the side. And we also get another Enel. Funny enough, we didn't get the Enels in the first box, and now we've gotten 2. Close to each other. I think this is another leader pack where you can kind of just see the like glimpse of purple through the side. So you can just go ahead and stick that in the bulk. I have a couple Green Purple Luffy leaders I need to grab out of my bulk when I'm done. And we get the Usopp and the Sanji. I know the Sanji is, like, I want to say a relatively staple yellow card. Just one of the good, like, I think they've printed these blockers for every color now where you just get to draw 2, trash 1 with some form of, like, cost or requirement or payment. Like, we have the Queen blocker and then the Sabo, both filling similar roles for their respective colors. So Sanji's just the like yellow version of those cards. I know he's played in Vegapunk and maybe Kid, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, when we get the alt-art Vegapunk, I actually think this art is super goofy looking. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I know that the 5-cost Vegapunk is a really good card coming out this set. So we get that card. And that is our first hit of this box. So one more at least, hopefully two more if we're able to get the manga or the leader. And we end up just getting another stage and another Zoro. I haven't actually made up my mind how many copies of that card I want to play in my green-purple deck. I keep seeing like different lists running anywhere from 0 to 4, so not exactly the most definitive. And we also get another Luffy, so the Luffys are going to be 4 in a case for sure. I know that's guaranteed 4, so getting 2 out of the 4 boxes is pretty great. We're halfway done with our playset for that card. Alright, and we get the Frankie and the Brook. Just stack up our bulk over there. And we get the Chopper and the Robin. The Robin is really good in Green Purple Luffy. You do get to block and then draw a card, so let you search for giants or any other card you might need. Last card, we get the Sengoku. I mentioned that card before. Pretty good addition to black decks. Kind of filling the spot that Moria used to fill now that he's banned, just getting to bring a card back from trash. And then just have an on play of getting to play an additional body while playing a 7k blocker. So pretty good card there. And we just get another music event. And the Usopp, I really don't know what that Usopp is in. I don't think he's in anything. Alright, a little more than halfway done now. And we get another Frankie. I feel like I've probably opened like 15 of these Frankies at this point. I feel like I see him in every 2 or 3 packs. I also feel like this Crocodile specifically is like the first card in half the packs. And we get another Bonnie. So I'll be interested to see if any Bonnie lists start including her. I know that the fact that she has a counter could be pretty interesting. I feel like a lot of like 7k or 7 cost plus cards don't actually have counters, so. And another law, I mentioned this one before, that, you know, maybe he becomes viable later on, but right now I don't think he's a staple in any decks. Alright, so we've gotten the Vegapunk as well as the Luffy out of this box, so I'll be interested to see if we end up getting anything else. And we just get a Robin and another Nami. So I think I've gotten playsets of both of those cards. The fact that they're not like super uncommon or rare means you'll probably be able to get a playset in like a box or maybe 2. You end up getting a box. And then we get another Vegapunk. So I think with the alt art now, we almost have our playset of Vegapunks. And then everything else in the Vegapunk deck is built the way that it used to last set. So you pretty much just need to slot in those new cards and then I get a pretty big power boost from that one card. We get the Ace and another Robin. I don't think I need to pull those out anymore. I definitely have more than 4, I think, pulled out. This pack does not want to rip, jeez. Alright, there we go. And we get the Rosinante and the music card. Alright, 5 more packs left in this box. Possible we end up getting 1 more alt art, but we'll see. I don't think I've seen that card as the first card yet. We get the Sabo and a Garp. Alright, the Ace and the music event. Coming towards the end here, only 3 more packs left. See if we're able to get 1 more hit out of this box. Music event, and 2 more now. I imagine if you get the Luffy and then alt art, the Luffy takes the spot of an alt art, so I think there's a possibility like you could just get the Luffy, but I'm not too sure about that one. Alright, 1 last pack, see if we get some last pack magic out of this box. Kind of saw a glimpse of it, and I don't think we did, but we'll see. Last card is another Robin. I think at this point we've probably gotten like 8 or 9 Robins. Alright, so out of this pack, we ended up getting the Vegapunk, the Law, and the Bonnie. I think those are the ones that came out of this pack. I can't exactly remember if I moved them over to the side or not. And then the alt arts were the Vegapunk as well as the 6-cost Luffy, which is the SEC of the set. Alright, moving on to our last box now. See if we're able to get anything out of this one. Let's see if I can rip this open. There we go. Alright, last pack. See if all of this ends up being worth it. Alright, let's see. We'll take a different approach this time. We'll open the left ones first. Or the right ones for all the other ones. And I think the first pack is going to be a Sanji and a music event. So nothing too special there. Oh, and I'll go ahead and move these bulk cards off of the screen. There we go. So I have a little bit more space to work with. And we get, oh, a normal Sanji and Pudding. Nice. So I think, how many of these have we gotten so far? 1, and then the alt art. Yeah, so 3 so far, including the alt art. So 1 more for our playset. And we are, this is our 4th box, so 4 boxes in, and then 3 Sanji and Puddings, just to give you all an idea. We get a Yamato, which I mentioned before, being in the Odin deck. I'm not exactly sure if there's anything else that she's in. I think she's pretty type locked to Wano. And then we also get the Vivi. And you can always kind of see that little glimpse of purple where it's a leader pack, so nothing too special here. I want to get a leader pack, just not the normal leader. And we'll see if we get lucky enough to get the alt art leader. Get an Anel. So that's we didn't get a single one in our first box, and then gotten 3 since then. So also 3 Anels in 4 boxes. Kind of imagine for like the SRs, it's about the rate you're gonna get them, like 3 to 4 boxes to get a play set. Going Merry. I have more than I need of those for sure. Music event. So far, nothing great out of these packs. I feel like I get most of the hits on the right side when I go through. I feel like we've gotten most of them by the time we get to the second half of the box. Music event and a buggy. So 3 more left on this half of the box. And we get an alt art Vivi. Nice. Very pretty looking card. Not the biggest, not the most expensive card, but definitely pretty card. And a music event, and a Robin. And this pack does not want to open, jeez. Just not rip, there we go. Chopper, and another music event. I swear they put one of the music events in every single pack. I'm gonna have like 100 of these things. Alright, so another Rosinante, and another music event. And a Sabo. And a Garp. I feel like the Sabo and the Garp just go together. I feel like every pack I've gotten the Sabo also had the Garp in it. And a Brook. And another music event. Alright, getting towards the end of these packs, so hopefully we end up getting something crazy here. I think this is another leader pack from what I can tell. I keep seeing the purple of the leader. Yeah. And Nami, and an Ace. I think that's our fourth, or actually our fifth Nami. We were already done with Nami. So at least we got all the searchers for the deck. And a Bonnie. So I think that's our third of her as well. So yeah, I think 3 and 4 boxes is probably a pretty good ratio for the SRs, and then maybe a fourth depending on if you get the alt art of the card. So Chopper, Robin. We should still have at least one more alt art in here. And another Vegapunk. So I think, yeah, so we've gotten 3 Vegapunks and then the 1 alt art, so seems to be pretty consistent among all the SRs. And a Sabo. Oh, this Sabo didn't come with a Garp, just a music event. And a Rosinante, Buggy. Alright, 3 more packs. So surely we have an alt art in one of these. I can't imagine an entire box would give me 1 VV alt art. And there's the alt art. Oh, it's the SCC Luffy. Nice. So that's going to be our third of him. Super cool looking card. And right now, in my current iteration of the deck, I'm running 3. So depending on if I want to bump it up to 4, we'll see. If I need to end up buying another one or not. And we get a music event and a Frankie. And last pack, maybe there's a chance it's a leader or a manga. We will see. And last pack is going to be a Sanji and a Zoro. Alright, so we ended up opening 4 boxes. And from those 4 boxes, we got 3 SECs, one of which is an alt art. We have a VV alt art, a Vegapunk alt art, a Bonnie alt art, a Sanji and Pudding, and lastly an Arlong. So we have 5 here, and then the 1 Luffy. So 6 in total between the 4 boxes. So I think that does mean that the SEC cards do take up the slot of an alt art, so we end up like totaling out to 2 alt arts per box, either alt art and SEC or 2 alt arts. And then quite a few SRs. I think in general every single SR in the set we got 3 like normal alts or normal arts through the 4 boxes. So you can probably assume to get like a round 1 and then just a lot of the rares. So I think we got playsets of every rare for Green Purple Luffy, which I would expect in 4 boxes. If it was any less than that, that would be pretty rough. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the opening, and I wish you all good luck in your pulls. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.